In this video, I will create a packaging design from scratch, including a custom illustration. And this is for an organic chip product for a made-up brand called the Yummy Chip. The target audience are moms looking for healthy snacks for their family, and these will be sold in healthy stores with more premium prices like Whole Foods and natural grocers. The target audience for this product are women who shop in Whole Foods and they're willing to pay a premium price for healthier products for their family. So what I did is I gathered some pictures of chips on the shelves at Whole Foods, and I got some carrot inspiration as well, because this is going to be an illustrated design on the packaging of a carrot. Then before I even touch the computer, I actually do sketches, which helps to come up with ideas and loosen my creativity of how I want the illustration and layout to look. So I created different variations of a carrot in the ground because that's the main look and layout I want it to be on the front of the packaging. Now I'm going to this awesome site called Packdora, and what they do is they specialize in packaging. Over 2,000 different templates that you can use to design packaging with. And they also have mock-ups for all of these designs too. So you download their template, which is essentially the Dieline. It shows where you design inside of, where the folds are, where the top is, the back is. It gives great Dielines that you can use for either passion projects or for real client projects. And you just go and look. I mean, it has folding boxes, bottles, display boxes, cans, pouches, tubes, cups, sleeves, jars. It has an endless type of actual labels and packaging that you can use. And then you can see what it would look like in a 3D model. And even when we get to the mock-up stage at the end of this project, I'm going to show you how you can actually create the mock-up inside of Packdora. And so you can go and choose PDF, Illustrator, PNG. I don't do DXF for Dieline, so I always stick with Adobe Illustrator. So you can download that from their site, and then you can go create it and design it in whatever program is natural to you. And this video is sponsored by Packdora, and they have a great offer for all of you, which is getting 50% off of their plans. So you just have to use the promo code 4TC50, and the link to access Packdora is in the description below, but you could just go to packdora.com and use that 4TC50. So I'm going to be showing you at the end how to do the mock-ups with it, but for right now we're using this Dieline that I downloaded, and I'm taking it from Illustrator, and I am obsessed with working in InDesign, so I'm going to import my Illustrator Dieline into InDesign. So I'm just naming it, and we're going to hop right in. Once I have this on a layer of the Dieline, I'm also going to import all my inspirations. So these are the illustrations that I found of the carrots, and I'm also going to do those chips that I found on the shelves because I want to really get the sense and make sure that this is going to fit the vibe, but also stand out as well. Now I'm going to create my color palette. So I'm color picking from these different carrot illustrations because I love this muted look where it's this carrot of the greens and the tans and the orange. So I'm going to create my color palette with that, and I'm going to make the swatches in my InDesign file. Now I'm going to be setting up so that I have this divided into thirds so that I can think with that when I'm laying out my design. It's a nice guide to use so that you know things are going to fall in a nice, pleasant looking place. And I also want to make sure that I am doing it so that what's the halfway mark, so that I can, if I want to center things, because this is going to mainly be center aligned at least on the front. So I want to make sure that I'm setting up the guide in InDesign so that I know where the center of my design is. So now I'm starting to create my illustration. So I'm going to do this background of a green for the grass. This is going to be where I'm going to have my carrot coming out of. So now that I had done my sketches, I'm using my sketches as a guide. I'm going to be referring to them, but right now I'm just diving in. I'm doing my actual illustration, and I'm using what is called the pen tool for creating this. Now I'm creating this background. I want it to be that tan color. I don't want to have a white bag, so I want to have this natural look because this product is organic. And when things are just stark white, it's a little bit less warm, but organic always evokes this warm tones, and that's what I want the flavor of this whole bag and the whole look to be. So now I'm created a new layer, and I am gonna be drawing my carrot now. And I'm having it so that, carrots have those rings around them. So I want to just have something a little playful and so that it evokes still that carrot vibe. So I found this cool typeface from Adobe Fonts called Cat's Eye. If you have Adobe Fonts, you can get it there too. And I want to make sure that the is at least 50% smaller than Yummy Chip, just to add some contrast. I'm also going to use that same typeface for the flavor of the Yummy Chip. So this one is going to be carrot. And the thought of this, and the way I'm thinking of this whole line, I'm only going to be designing this specific flavor, but let's say that they have a beet chip. And so I'm thinking that instead of the carrot in the middle, it could be a beet. So that's something when you're doing a line of packaging for a client, you want to make sure that you're thinking with the full line, not just one-off packaging, because you want to make sure it's consistent and that the different loyal customers, if they want to try a different flavor, they're going to recognize the specific brand and they can go back there. So since my main typeface is a display type, I'm going to use a sans serif to contrast it for the smaller type. So I want to make sure something that's really big for this target audience is having things cooked in the right oils. So I'm going to make sure that it's displayed on the front that it is cooked with this olive oil instead of the canola oils and other things that are not as good for the body. So remember, this is for health conscious moms who are they're willing to pay the premium prices. They want good quality snacks for their kids. So what I'm going to do is I want to have some more organic look at the top too. And this is kind of like what could be the top of the carrot. So this is the leaves of the carrot that would be sticking out of the ground. But instead of having them connected to the carrot, it's a little bit abstract. I'm going to have it at the top of the name of the brand. So it's going to be on top of the Yummy Chip. And this could also work if they were to have a beet flavor or parsnip flavor or other types of flavors. It can still work because most things that these are roots and they will have those leaves coming out of the top of it. So it'll still be able to be consistent through other different flavors. Now I'm gonna add the sun. So I'm gonna make it look like the sun, and this is gonna be an important call to actually get the attention that this is 100% organic product. And that's going to be something that I'm going to put inside of this sun. So it's almost like it's a sun rising on a farm, but at the same time, it also will stand out and call attention to the fact that it's organic. And I'm having this in the same typeface that I have that hand cooked. It's that serif. So this is the Montserrat, which is kind of my go-to one. And then I'm going to add also the USDA organic logo. And I made it the same size as that inner circle of the sun so that it has some consistency and they're well balanced on either side. And to add some nice touch, just so that it's not so just plain, I'm adding some texture to the grass behind, and that's going to add some nice playful textures. It's just going to be a lighter green than that background. So that's what I'm going to have there, and I'm going to be putting that also on the other side. Now going to the back of the chip bag, I have to have the nutritional facts, and something that I researched is you can actually have them on a light background. It doesn't have to be white. So instead of just having it on a white background, I thought it looked nicer to have it on this tan background. I just stole one off the internet. This is obviously a made up product, so I don't have the actual nutritional facts. Same thing for the barcode. I just stole that, put it on there, and you would get this from the client. They would set it up. You're not responsible for getting the barcode or the nutritional facts. That's normally something that's provided to you. But in this case, I just put it there. And you see I have all different layers. So this helps me to be able to, if I only want to edit one part of the design, I can lock the other ones, and then I can just have that one layer active. This is what I love in InDesign. It's really easy to navigate. I know Illustrator has similar features. I just feel more comfortable working in InDesign. And I'm just writing a little marketing blurb on the back to interest people. You know, sometimes when they're reading these, when they're eating their chips, they like to read the story on the back. And I'm not going to get too detailed on this, but just putting something that's a little fun. Now I want to have a texture to this. So I'm going to go to Adobe Stock, and I'm going to actually look for a texture that I can overlay on top of this design. Now it's important in the rest of the illustration, it's all vector-based, which is going to help things to be more crisp in printing. For the texture, you could also have that be vector, but right now I'm just going to overlay it as a raster image, and it'll just be very subtle, so it's not going to be a big deal or create a lot of extra rasterization or pixels. And I'm going to be putting it on top. See, it's on its own layer. Everything else is locked, so it's not going to be affecting it. And I'm actually putting what's called a transparency. So I go to the effects and I'm going to put it as a transparency, and that will make it so you can still see what's behind it, but it will add the texture. And it has this organic look, again, kind of like a farm. You know, things are a little bit grungy. It's not like everything is perfect and polished. So now we're going to do the mock-up. So I'm taking a screenshot of each side of it with the bleed, because that is how Pacdora works. And for this specific mock-up, I have to have the front on the left and the back on the right. But for the design, I wanted it to flow as it did, so I had it the other reversed. So now I can upload the images that I just took the screenshots of. I can upload them to Pacdora, and I can position them inside this mockup so that they are going to be fitting, and then we can see them in the preview on the right top. You can see the preview of how things are going to lay out. And you can adjust the materials. So do you want it to be a craft bag? Do you want it to be shiny, metallic? So I'm just going to have it as a plastic matte bag, and you can see there it is. And then you can see it with 2, with 3, and they let you go in any angle. And then you can also change the background. You can also export it as a clear background, so a PNG transparent background, which then allows you to import it into Photoshop and add your own background if you want to. All you have to do is go up to the export on that green bar on the right, and then it will download the PNG for you. But I just wanted it to have that single transparent background. And if you even want to do video, you can export as video. Look at all these cool mock-up settings that you can do as a video. So now I'm importing it into Photoshop, and I'm going to put my own background on it that is going to lend itself to this design. It's going to look like the rolling hills are extending beyond the bag, really putting it into this kind of world. And I want to have the chips, what the chips would actually look like. So I'm going to Adobe Stock, I'm looking for PNGs of the chips, and I'm going to see what they look like here. And I want to make sure I colored the chips so they look a little bit more carroty instead of yellow. And there you go, you have the mock-up. So this is our final, the yummy chip. So you see, I was able to use Pactora to get that Dieline. I was able to then use that same template for the mock-up, so I knew it would fit correctly. And then I could download it and either use it as a video but in this case, I just wanted it as a transparent background, and then I could add my own background. So it's all within this one program. You don't have to go then buy other assets, which is super helpful as a designer. Let me know in the comments below if this video was helpful, and don't forget to check out Pactora and use that promo code to help you in creating your next package design project, either a passion project or for a real client design. Thank you so much also for watching, and I will see you next time.